How can why not create a family? That's the question at the heart of this story. Because for Samantha, those two words changed everything.
I had two kids of my own, one boy and one girl, and but I was just really good at being pregnant. Both of my pregnancies were very boring, and which is a good thing. And I was like, why not? There's so many people out there that need help, starting their family, and basically, why not?
That simple why not led Samantha to become a surrogate for two dads, a decision that would show her and all of us just how powerful love and purpose can be in building a family.
I can't even describe how magical it was to watch them see their baby come into the world.
In today's episode, you'll hear the real emotional journey of how one woman's courage and one family's dream came together along hundreds of miles.
It makes me very happy and very fulfilled to know that the why not turned into this, and that baby is so loved.
If you've ever wondered what it's really like to help create a family, or how one simple why not can lead to a moment that changes lives forever, this episode is for you. Enjoy. Okay, Samantha, thank you so much for being here. Your story is such a beautiful example of how surrogacy is about so much more than just carrying a baby. And you even shared your journey so openly with, the tagline of just the pouch, which I
Yeah.
love. But let's start at the beginning. What first inspired you to even become a gestational carrier?
I would say, I mean, I had two kids of my own, one boy and one girl, and we decided we're done. Like we're very happy with the two that we have. But I was just really good at being pregnant and it was just something I enjoyed. And both of my pregnancies were very boring,
Love it.
and which is a good thing.
Yes,
And
we
I
love
was
boring.
like, yes. And I was like, why not? There's so many people out there that need help, starting their family, and basically, why not? And I did ask my sister if she wanted me to carry for her because she does, if she were to want to have a baby, she would need some help. Ultimately, she said, no, I'm good with your littles. I will hang out with them. And I am perfectly happy with that. So I was like, okay, well, I'll go see if I can help somebody else.
Amazing. Was there a particular story or moment where you were just like, I absolutely 100% want to do this, not even waffling, like, nope, I am absolutely doing this.
Um, no, I just wanted to do it. I had my daughter in September of 22, and by March I quit my job because I wanted to stay home with her and my son. Um, and then I got bored, and I was like, I saw some another surrogate online, and I was like, I want to do that and I want to help somebody. And that's how that whole thing went on. And I signed up. I actually started with a different agency first, and
hmm
they kept dropping the ball. So I started again, more
Mm,
research and things. And Egg Donor and Surrogate Solutions was like high on the recommendation list. So I was like, I'm going to try them out. And I filled out the application, and then I met you. And it
Yay!
just went on from there. But no, it was very
Yeah.
easy. I said that I wanted to do it. I talked to my husband. He was like, "Okay, yeah, sure." I was like, "Okay." So I'm gonna go for it.
I love it. I love it. It doesn't have to be complicated. It's just like you said, why not? Why wouldn't I?
Yep. Yep.
That's amazing. You mentioned how you kind of had first started with a different agency, and then you said you did kind of some further research because things just weren't adding up. I know a
Mm,
lot of people sometimes whenever they kind of go down the road with maybe one plan, um sometimes they have a really hard time of like, well, I'm already here. Why would I start over again? Was that
Hmm.
difficult, or what were kind of those things where you were like, nope, I'm out. I'm going to make a change.
It was marking about a year, and I still had not moved past the matching process.
Oh,
And
wow.
I was a part of many Facebook groups, and I just saw people going left and right. And I was like, both of my pregnancies were fine. And why? Like, I want to help somebody, and this is taking incredibly too long, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I started asking questions, and the communication was down. And I talked to my husband. I was like, it sucks. Like, I've been in this for almost a year, and the medication or medical records, getting those, like, that takes forever. And then
Mm-hmm.
getting clearance and all of this, it was just, I did so much and it's not going anywhere. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, it's going to be hard and we're just going to have to start all over. But what's the point of just sitting here and not being able to move past this? So I was like, I I'm done. I'm going to go look. And I told him, I said, I'm leaving. I'm going to someone else. So, which I'm
Yeah.
happy it all works out and it worked out for the best. So,
No, I completely agree. No, and that's amazing that you were able to, just recognize that and then made, I know, a tough choice to, especially after doing all of that, to,
mhm.
go ahead and, like you said, start over again. But obviously it worked out exactly like you said, for the best. I
Yep.
mean, every great surrogacy story has that moment where you find it's the two families, they come together and it just clicks. As you got to the matching process, what stood out to you as you're looking through all of those intended parent profiles? What made you decide, what, this is it?
Um, with you guys sent me so many to look through, and unfortunately, I'm on the East Coast in South Carolina, so it's very hard. There wasn't a whole lot of people to choose
Mhm.
from on my side. But when I got past that, I was like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's just distance. We can do this. And
Yeah.
y'all sent me so many profiles, and it was hard. It was very hard to read about everybody's story and, like, and coming down to choosing just one. But the parents that I chose, um, their relationship length was the same as me and my husband. So it was
Mm.
very like, and it was long. Like we had been together for like at the time we matched around 13 years that we knew each other, and they were the same timeline except they were a little bit older. So I was like, they're perfect because they have the love, they have the foundation. They've been
Mm.
together. They have all these little hiccups are out of the way and they're ready to have a baby, and bring in more love. So they really stuck out to me because they had such a strong foundation already. And
Mm.
this is just adding more specialness to it.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I know you mentioned location and everything. Obviously, you guys are not local, and I know that can
Yeah.
that can really be a concern for a lot of people. How did you, keep that connection strong? Like you said, it's just distance.
Yeah. No, I mean they were in Texas. And so that's halfway across the United States.
Yeah.
Um, we kept up like after, during the process, during the journey, like every week I would send them, like the baby is a poppy seed or the baby's a strawberry, every
Mm.
Wednesday morning I would send it. And, we would go crazy. Some of the weeks, like the cute, like strawberry, I would send a gift that, like would be a strawberry. Um, and I just kept it going like that. I don't know. Like it was just natural, I guess. And I was excited to share as much as I could every time the baby moved or, when he had hiccups, like I would send videos. I would like my whole phone would be filled with videos and pictures. And then I'd send them and, they would go crazy. And it was natural. It was great.
I love that. I know that can really be a concern for, when you're first meeting intended parents, right? You have that match meeting and it's, a blind date, but we're talking about a uterus sort of situation. And,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people say, oh, we really want it to be natural and we really want it to be organic. But not a lot of people know how that happens. You said you were just the communication was open for you. How was that for them as well? Was it like, what was that back and forth like, I guess?
Um, I would say, I mean, we mainly, texted back and forth multiple times a week. Then you throw in the appointments and, they definitely had busier lives than me and my husband. Like I just stay home with my kids. So I'm nonstop, just, rattling things off as they're happening. As it got towards the end, like it was more, detailed, like, oh, when the baby comes, we're going to do this. We already have this planned. And, some of their other friends were pregnant as well. So they were going to have like a little sibling when they came. So,
Oh, I love that. I love that. I know one of the things that was so special was you got to attend the baby shower for them that their friends
yes,
threw, and all of that. And not every surrogate gets to have that, experience. What was that day like for you?
I, it was surreal just watching them in their community of family and friends and
Yeah.
neighbors and coworkers. Like, everybody there, there was at least, I would say, 50 people there. And no, yes, it was big. And, you know, um, it was just surreal, like seeing all of their people, that are going to be there to love on this baby. And
Mm.
like they were just, it was just natural. They were having a baby. It was like a normal baby shower, and they were celebrated, and there was so many, like they opened up their gifts that night in a smaller setting, and just watching them like glow up and sparkle with all of the little baby clothes, and it was just great. Like I was super
Yeah.
excited I got to go. I was so happy they invited me. They wanted it later, and I was like, no, I'm not getting on a plane that late. But they moved it. They moved the date just for me. It was very nice
Mm.
of them, and it was very nice to see. So I was very happy to go.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. And it is so wonderful to see, it's not, you're not just making parents, you're making grandparents, aunts, uncles,
Hmm.
friends,
Yeah.
like you said, siblings by another family, like the
Yeah.
whole thing. I mean, yeah.
It was just great.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. And it definitely makes all of those shots and medications worth it, and all of
Oh
those,
yeah.
just all of that. Yeah, for
Hmm.
sure. This was your first journey. How did it feel as, you're going through those steps, and, you're experiencing a clinic for the first time, and gosh, transfer day and all of that. What was that like as you were just going through that?
Um, I was pretty excited about everything. You
Yeah.
know, the only time that I was like super nervous and overwhelmed was transfer day because it
Mm.
was something that I've never experienced before. Um, I would say the only part that really made me, nervous about it was after the fact when I was going home. I was
Mhm.
in the airport. Me and my husband were getting tacos, and he just looks at me like, and I don't even know what the look was, but I just broke down and started crying. And he was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I don't know. Like, I feel overwhelmed. I have this precious cargo. Like, there's something, that I'm carrying now, and like it's real. Like it's happened, and I'm going home, and they're staying here. That was the only time that I was like, oh my gosh, like this is happening. And like my husband was like, well, it's too late now, like we're way past the point of return. And I'm like, no, it's completely fine. But like now, like I've just realized that it's real. like this is happening. And like me, I'm a very go-lucky type of person, laid back. I'm like, okay, let's do this. Like this whole journey, like my family, was like, are you sure you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, I'm good to go. Like I don't care. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
And every during the journey, the other thing about the journey, like there's a lot of steps and it takes time and the collecting of records and legal, like, but all of the steps, I was like, I'm a very impatient person too. So I was like, I want this done now. Like every time I got an email, I was immediately answering back. I was like, let's keep this ball moving. Like it's not going to be on my account that we're not moving. But
Right.
um, I think the whole journey, like it was very easy, very boring, just like my other pregnancies. It was just a breeze, and it was probably the best journey to have as a first one. So I was very lucky and happy that it worked out the way it was.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny. I think you're so right because I feel like if you are absolutely ready to make this happen and you are that type of person that's like, let's keep this ball rolling, it can be so easy to, okay, what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? And
Hmm.
then sometimes those moments of reflection where you're in the airport eating a taco and you're like, oh, wow, let me just
Yeah,
like take in the magnitude of like what is happening,
yeah.
can be overwhelming. I think you did such one thing that I think is, it's like I said earlier, it's so special that you documented everything so well. What made you decide that you wanted to share your experience publicly?
Um, I wouldn't say I shared it for others. It was mainly for myself to like look back and see where I started and like what all I went through to get to this point.
Yeah.
Um, but it did keep others in the loop so I didn't have to, text every person and be like, hey, this just happened. Here's a picture. And
Sure.
I think maybe some people were excited to follow along. I don't know. But I mainly did it for myself so I could go back and look at pictures and, like during the medication protocol, it was a lot, but like now that I go back and look at it, I was like, wow, I did that and it's over. I'm happy that I don't have to take shots and do patches anymore, but I did
Sure.
that and it was and it made a baby and it was just I don't know. I just wrote, I just documented mainly for myself. And I
Mm.
would say maybe to help others like maybe want to, do surrogacy or share information at least. Um, I mean, sharing information is very powerful. So as many people share and, spread the information that they would never even come across, helps.
We'll get right back to the show in just a second. But real quick, have you ever wondered what it would be like to help create a family through surrogacy? At Egg Donor and Surrogate Solutions, we've spent 18 years walking alongside women who said yes to making a difference. And we'd love to support you as you explore if surrogacy might be the right next step. Our team includes women who have been surrogates themselves. So when we say we understand, we truly do. You can download our surrogate journey and compensation guide at createahappyfamily.com. It's a big decision, and it's okay to have questions. This is your invitation to find out more. All right, let's get back to the show. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you mentioned, at the beginning, you saw a surrogate online and you were like, "Oh,
Hmm.
that's interesting. Let me find out more." Yeah. And
Yeah.
here you are, sharing your story.
Yep.
I love that. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to our favorite part. Please walk us through delivery day. What, like,
Oh no.
give me the highlights. What stands out?
Leading up to delivery, my coordinator, Paisley, absolutely best coordinator ever. I am so
Shout
blessed to
out,
have her.
Paisley. The
Yes,
best.
like
Yes.
the best. She was on the ball every day. Whenever I texted her, she was on it. I'm like, give me a call. I need help on it. Like best. But leading up to delivery, she, went over delivery, like where the parents are going to be, what are they going to expect, and which I'm glad that you guys have coordinators for us because I don't know if I would have been able to, you know, tell the parents what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
What I told her is not what happened at all on delivery day. Not at all. I carried for two dads. So I was like, I want them in the room. They need to experience it, but they need to be like, just be mindful. And,
Yeah, by
she
my
went over, yeah.
shoulders, just
hmm
yeah, sure.
Yeah. But we ended up doing an induction and we went in on a Sunday. It was around like 5, I think. I had the mechanical induction with the balloons. They put that in and I started contracting a little bit, but it was manageable. And the boys were the dads. Um, they were in town already and they were like, well, just let us know when you're okay and for us to come. I'm like, yeah, sure. They were like, we'll bring you dinner at the hospital, like whatever you want. So they brought it, we ate, and then they played a board game with my husband.
I
And they were
love
like, oh,
it.
yeah, they were just in the room playing with the board game. And they were like, are you sure you don't want to play? And like by that time, I had eaten and I started having contractions. And I was like, no, I'm good. I'll just sit here and watch, I'm
Are
good.
you sure you don't want to
And,
play?
but I didn't, tell them what was going on because, at first, like, you don't really know, like, what's happening. But I was like, no, you guys play. So I just watched them play. And then they went home. The balloons fell out around 11, and I was 3 centimeters dilated. And the doctor was like, "Oh, let's start Pitocin." And I was like, "No, I'm tired. I want to go. I want to go to sleep." So they left me alone somehow until 8 o'clock that morning. I got them to leave me alone, and I don't
Wow.
know how I did it because they kept, "Are you wanna start it now?" I'm like, "No, I'm tired. I'm going back to bed." And so I slept the whole night and I was like, okay. And I contracted here and there, but it wasn't, progressing. So I was like, fine, we'll start
Sure.
Pitocin. Um, and by that time the the parents came and they said good morning, said hi and let us know what you need. The hospital set up an extra room for them. They were able to go and hang out in that room while I, just relaxed and had me time. And then when they started the Pitocin, it really, started to hit. And I was like, I don't know how much more I can take of this. And the parents were like, well, just let us know, when it's time. And I'm like, I don't know when it's time, but this has got to stop. So I ended up getting an epidural because I was like, no more.
Hmm.
And I had the epidural. Then I went back to sleep. I just went back to sleep.
Yeah. Well,
And
I'm loving this so far because, again, like you said, like it's so
mhm,
great to kind of already have the, chat of like, hey, this is kind of what to expect sort of situation. And so you're not feeling like you have to host them in your room or
yeah.
anything. It's like, come in, come out, we're good, it's established. That's great.
And they were very respectful. They were just like, okay, just let us know when you want us to come back in. I'm like, okay. I remember sleeping. I woke up at one point and my husband was looking at me in a really weird face. And I was like, what? What's wrong? And he was like, the under your bed is like a complete puddle. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, there's a pool under your bed. And I was like, I have a catheter in. I should be fine. He was like, I'm just going to call a nurse. And I'm like, okay. She comes in and she's like, whoa, your water's broke. Yay. Like, let's go. And she was so excited. And I was like, okay, like, let's get this party started. And so they checked me and I was ready to go. 10 centimeters. Let's
Bam.
go. Like, yep, wide open. So my husband was like, y'all need to get over here now. Like, she's ready. The doctor's coming in. Let's go. And they came in and they went immediately to the back corner, just beelined it. And I was like, okay. And the doctor came in. She asked if I was ready, and I just broke down because, all these emotions started happening. I'm like, this is happening. I'm having a baby. The parents are here. They're really excited. and they're about to meet their baby. And I just started losing it. And
Oh.
oh, it was great because after she was like, all right, we're doing this, you're fine, it's happening. And I'm like, okay, fine. And I got back in control and she was like, let's get you set up and we're gonna start pushing. And then I don't know why, but I was like, y'all need to get over here, like right next to me. You need to move over. My husband was at my head, taking pictures, and they were like right next to me, like whatever.
Mm.
And I don't know why I did it. But I just knew that they had to be there, like right there. They needed to see. It wasn't about, for me, I was just like, the privacy went out the window because this moment of them witnessing their baby coming into the world was like, I was like, I want them there. So they were right by my side. And when we started pushing, one of the dads was holding my hand and I just kept looking at them. And I'm sure it made them feel awkward because I'm just like all exposed and I'm just staring at them because I don't know. I was so excited to see their face, um, when it was happening and his head was coming out. The doctor was like, "Do you want to catch him?" And the dads were like, "No, like we're good." And I was like, "Are you sure? Like this is the time to do it?" And they were like, "No."
Yeah.
And his head was coming out, and the doctor was like, "Do you want to look? Like he's right here." And they were like, "No." And I'm like, "You get down there and look. Like you look at your baby's head. Like he is
Yes.
coming." Like, and so they were just like, peeked around, and they're like, you could see their face, like, "Oh God, this is happening." And it was just great. It was so exciting to watch them. Um, and then I pushed for like 9 minutes, and that was it. He was out. And then the one dad actually agreed to cut the cord, which I was super happy that he ended up doing it. And
Mm.
he was just, and their faces, like, it was, I can't even describe how magical it was to watch them see their baby come into the world. Like, this whole journey just resulted in these couple seconds, and it was just worth it. And they got to do
Yeah.
skin to skin. And then, like 5 minutes, they're like, "Do you want to hold him?" And I'm like, "No, you need to go hold your baby and love him." And they were like, "But like you could hold him." And I was like, "No, you go enjoy him, stare at him, and cuddle him and sniff him." I was like, "I don't need to. I
Yes.
can wait." But it was so sweet. They were just immediately like, do you want to hold him?" I'm like, "No, I just gave him back after all this time. Like you enjoy him."
Yeah, I've been holding him. I've been holding him. You hold
Yeah.
him now.
Yeah. I've been feeling him kick for a very long time. And man, he was a mover. Like he constantly was moving all the time. And I was like, "No, you go enjoy him. I'm good."
Oh, that's so beautiful. But I think you're so right. Right. Everybody, I feel like every surrogate always gets the question, oh, how can you give up a baby? And you're like,
Yeah.
no, no, no. I'm not giving up a baby. I'm giving back a baby. And those
Hmm.
seconds of seeing, parents meet their baby for that first time, I mean, that's it. That's the finish line.
Hmm. Yes. And watching. The babe, like, he was just opening up his eyes and he was just looking at his parents, and you could just
Mm.
tell that he knew he was back where he was supposed to be. And I got to take care of him and make him safe for so long, but he just knew. Like when they were holding him, the baby just knew. Like he was so content and it was so natural and it was meant to be. Like it was perfect.
I love that. I know you kind of there were, a couple of moments that you've already mentioned that where you were just kind of hit with the big feelings of realization of what was of, all of this. What was there a specific moment as you're looking back that really made you realize the magnitude of what you were doing?
I honestly don't think it's hit me yet. Like I'm
Yeah.
over, I think, how many weeks am I? Like 10 weeks postpartum? Or is it 8? I don't remember. But I still don't think that it's like registered that like I did all of this and now it's over. We still talk
Mhm.
every day. They send me pictures, so it's kind of hard to like look back and like have a closed journey because it's still going. And
Yeah.
and I love it, but like I look back and I'm like, I had a baby and now they're parents. And I think the distance plays a part where I don't see them every day. I only see, pictures and stuff, so I don't think it hits me as hard as it probably would if they were closer or I saw them more often. But the whole journey, I don't know. I just don't think it's ended. Like it's still going. And
Yeah.
I'm sure it's gonna hit me eventually, but I don't think in a bad way. I think, you know, seeing them be parents, going through, the motions of the night, the nights and the feedings and whatever, and they're, just
Sure.
just venting and everything. And I'm like, oh my God, yeah, because your parents, like, th it's hard. I'm not gonna, downplay it. It's hard, but like they're experiencing it, and it's all because I was just, I want to help somebody and I
Why
want to
not?
carry a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, like why not? And now from going from why not to they're just, being parents, and it's great, and that baby is so loved, and it's just really it makes me very happy and very fulfilled to know that the why not turned into this, and I'm
Mhm.
so happy I was just carefree and just went for it. Not that you should do your research, but I don't think it needs to be as hard as it needs to be sometimes. I feel like more people should just
Yeah.
be like, why not?
I couldn't agree more. And I think you're so right. I feel like I I don't think we need to I think we need to change the verbiage around like, oh, the journey ended. And I think we need to change it to like the journey transitions,
Yeah.
because it is that, like, oh, now it's we're both parents together and I'm hearing you talk about those late night
Mhm.
feedings, or it's, like, oh, what's their, Halloween costume going to be this year, or,
Yes.
like that. I mean, gosh, I was just texting with one of my intended moms, and she's telling me about, a fit that her daughter threw while she's taking her to pre-K. And this is years. Like, I
Yeah.
delivered in 2020. Like, we are
Yeah.
years from this, and now it's not surrogate and intended parent. It's my friend, my parent friend,
Yeah.
and I just happened to play a pretty big role, but like, it
Yeah.
transitions.
Yeah. And it definitely transitioned because there was no ending. I felt like it was just we just moved to the next stage, and it just keeps going, and it's great because I can't I don't know. I'm very grateful they send me pictures and give me updates because I don't know how I would feel if I didn't get any, but I am super grateful I do because just seeing how much he's growing and what he looks like now and what he's doing and hearing the baby sounds again, it is like perfect.
Mm,
It's great. It's very
yes.
healing.
How did your kids what did they think of, mommy's belly getting bigger, but baby goes to a different house?
Um, when this first started, my two kids were 2 and 4, and my
Okay.
daughter just turned 3 now, so they're both relatively young. Um, my son, he'll be 5 in February, so he's very smart, but I don't think they really, not that they didn't care, they're very busy. And so I don't think
Yeah.
they were very aware of, me growing and the changes that were happening. Um, and I had lots of people helping me on my end, to get me to the appointments and like transfer and stuff like that. They went to their Mimi and Opa's house and, so they were having fun. So I don't think they were very aware. Towards
Mm-hmm.
the end, my daughter was very clingy and she was very cuddly and like every time I had like my shirt pulled up, she would like come and like lay on my belly um
Mm.
and I wouldn't keep anything. I would say what was happening or I would have conversations. Now, if they understood or even listened to me, I don't know. But I never kept anything from them. My son at one point towards the end was like, and they met the intended parents too. When they came for the anatomy scan, we all went to the
Mm-hmm.
zoo together and went out to lunch. So they met them and we explained, like I said, if they remembered or listened, who I don't know. But towards the end, my son was like, I can't say that, I don't want to say the baby's name, but baby R, like, is he coming home with us? And I was like, no, like, I'm having the baby for the two dads that you met. And, oh, okay. And then moved on. And then, a couple days later, he would bring it up again. And
Mm-hmm.
every so often he would ask, and I would say it, and he was very content with my answer. He never, why? Like, why can't he come home with us? Like, it was almost maybe he understood or he was just happy, of the answer that he heard. Now, my daughter, she was just, like I said, very cuddly and she's younger, so she didn't really ask questions. But that leading up to it, I was just like, oh, just a couple more days, and then the parents get to meet baby R. Like it's gonna be exciting, and then he's gonna go home with them. And they're just like, okay. And after delivery, they came by the house before they went back home, and they got to
Mm.
see the baby. And my son was like, oh my God, that's a little baby. And my daughter, just sat there and stared at him, and they were just in awe and like seeing them, like witness this baby, whether they realized what was happening or not. It was just really beautiful to see them so accepting of this, process and stuff. And they just absolutely love the intended parents too. So it was great to,
Mm.
do the full circle of we went through this whole thing, they met them, and now the baby's going home. And we just stood on the porch and waved bye to them as they drove away. And my kids were happy with it. They didn't mind a bit.
Yeah. Well, they had closure. They knew,
Hmm.
they had this story and then it was like, okay, and exactly like what mommy said, and there goes baby with
Yep.
dads and it's
Yep.
perfect.
Hmm.
Yeah. What surprised you most about your surrogacy experience that you wish more people knew?
I think when I went into it, I see it's really hard to like justify this journey because like I said, I was with another agency at first and
Right?
like
Yeah.
going through the process with them, it was very drawn out and like just not how it should have been. So when I got to you guys were just on the ball, like with everything, and it moves so fast. Like I came to you guys in I think March of last year, and I delivered in August. And
It was quick.
so yeah, so it was. I would say the most surprising thing that I didn't know about going in was I thought it would be a longer process, like the agency that I was with before, but it's really not. Like it is a long process, but it's not that long. And you can, if you want things done, you can get it done. And I definitely think researching is something that I should have done more. Um,
Mm.
I just didn't have anything that went wrong with you guys. So I don't, like I said, it was just great, but also boring because there was not really any hiccups. So like I don't know what I was expecting. So
Yeah, well, this is kind of one of those experiences where maybe, surprises, we do our best to where you're not surprised.
I was
Yeah.
never at a point where I was like, wait, what? This
Mhm.
what? So Um, I guess the only thing that really surprised me was that I actually got to pick my intended parents because the first agency just sent me one profile at a time. It was like, here, do you like them? You know, whereas you like you guys sent me a whole bunch and I got to choose. And it was that probably surprised me going from one to another because I was like, oh my God, like I get to choose. And it's not something that should be taken lightly, but because it's very hard to read everybody's profile and just choose one. Like, but it
Yeah.
was very nice that I got to choose the family that I was helping, you know.
Hmm. Hmm. What advice, if any, would you give to someone who is thinking about being a carrier?
Um, Probably research. Make sure you definitely know who you're signing up for. Obviously, I'm definitely going to say choose egg donor and surrogate solutions, but you know, not a biased,
No,
you
not
know,
at all.
thing at all. Not at all. Um, don't do it if you don't plan to do it twice, because I want to do it again. Like I wouldn't say I wouldn't say addicted, but like I I just want to help. And the only thing that I'm super upset about is that I can't do it more like a whole bunch of times in my lifetime because, you know, there is a limit, there is an age limit, you know, and how many pregnancies you can have. So that's the only downfall that I would tell somebody, like, if you don't want to do this more than once, you know, like you're gonna want to do
It's
it
gonna be
again.
tough.
Yeah, but
I love that.
I don't know.
If you could go back to the very beginning, what would you tell yourself about starting this process?
I would say I was very hard on myself at the beginning because I felt
Mm.
like um I don't know. I listened to other people, you know, there was a lot of people that were like, "Are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to choose those people? Are you sure you don't want to go with these people? Are you sure you don't want to go with a different agency?" Um, I would tell myself to, yes, get advice and help from others, but really sit down for yourself and know what you want and who you want to help and do your own research because having a lot of opinions really, I wouldn't say set me back in the beginning, but it was harder to get past like different thoughts and stuff. Um, because choosing two dads was not something that everybody agreed with. Um,
Mm.
to me, it doesn't matter because if the people read their profile and saw where they were coming from and the community that was surrounding them, you wouldn't even think twice if you knew it was two dads because you'd be so for them. And I just, the advice I would give myself is to not listen to too many people.
Well, it's not them. It's not them. It's exactly like what you said. It's their opinion, but it's your journey.
Yeah.
And
And once I got past that and I was like, you know what, I don't care. I want to carry for that. And even during the video, now that I recall, they were like, why us? Like, why
hmm,
would you choose two dads? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, why not?
why wouldn't
Like
I?
again, why not? Like, what does it matter? You guys are ready to have a baby and you have such a strong relationship. Like, why wouldn't I? I mean, that baby's going to be loved like endlessly. So it doesn't really matter at that point, right? And it was
Yeah.
actually very shocking that they asked me that. I was like, I don't know. Why why not?
Love makes a family. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, Samantha, I it truly has been a joy getting to be at the very beginning and then watch, just as your amazing journey unfolded. And I'm so grateful for all of the ways that you have, not only brought a beautiful life into the world, but have also just been so, I mean, I am so proud of just you and how loud and proud you are of everything that like you have done. And I know it's kind of hard to take like that compliment, but
Yeah.
I am. I mean, it is. It's when you go from why not to like, hey girl, this was a really big deal. I think it's amazing
Yeah.
and that should be celebrated. And
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you and just, all of just the impact that you have made, not only on, your intended parents and their community, but just as a whole. It's a big deal. And I think it's amazing.
Well, thank you. I would say this is probably one of my favorite things that I've done, besides having my kids and, my husband and stuff, but this was probably one of the best choices I've ever made because it's just so magical and so surreal. Like I can't even just I could sit here all day and I probably would never give you a straight answer because it's wonderful and it's just perfect.
It is. It is. No, you're so right. You are so, so right. I couldn't agree more. I have one last question for you, and it's a fun one. You may or may not remember, but probably during our interview, I had a cup of coffee in my hand, and here I am again. So
Hmm.
anyone who knows me, they know that coffee and I, we are two peas in a pod. So I always love to ask the question, what has filled your cup today? Literally or figuratively, what has been the thing to fill your cup?
I knew this question was going to come up. Um, but I would I would really say just being here and doing this with you because like you said, like I had the interview with you and going back at late or last March, like going from that to now is complete full circle, like you said. And it's just something going over the whole journey and looking back at what happened and how the journey's transitioned and kept going. It is a full circle, and it's just something that fills my heart to know that from the why not, what have I got to lose, to now seeing these parents become parents, to a beautiful baby boy. It's that's what's filled my cup because I can't even think of, I don't know. I was very excited to do it, and now that I look back at it, it makes me very happy that I did. And yeah,
I love it. I love it. Absolutely amazing. Well, thank you, Samantha. Again, I'm so grateful for you, and I am so glad that you and I got to have this chat.
hmm,
And again, I love that we get to celebrate the amazing thing that just we get to do. It's a great club
yeah,
to be in.
yeah. And I'm really excited to do it again. I hope I can do
Yes.
many, many more.
Absolutely, 100%. Yes. Well, I know we'll be doing this again for sure.
I hope. I hope. Not soon, but soon enough.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it was August when you delivered. We've got a little bit of
Yes,
time.
yes. Oh, I can tell you the second we walked out that door, I was like, all right, let's go.
Let's go. Come on. Hey, Doc, give me my clearance. When are we going?
Yes, yes, definitely.
I love it. I love it.